Welcome to another episode of the Ignite Your Mind podcast, a safe place for real talk on discovering powerful stories, talking about mental health, real business journeys, and hearing inspiring stories. My goal in this podcast is to uplevel your creative thinking, to help you see the infinite potential you have, and to show you that anything is possible. My name's Sanjay Patel, and I'm a transformational life coach. And this week, I have another special guest that is Elinor Davies-Farn from Olew Hair. Elinor tells us her motive on how she came up with her idea for her business, which led all the way back to her school days. Elinor then goes into her working career and discovers the realization of knowing that this was not for her. For anyone wanting to start their own business or pursue their own passion, Elinor dives into the more importantly transition from employee to creating her own product in her kitchen and then starting to sell it organically. Elinor then goes on to tell us the real home truth sacrifices you have to take to building your own business. I hope you enjoy. Okay, and welcome to another podcast, the Ignite Your Mind podcast with myself, Sanjay, and I've got a very special guest today. You know I'm all about amazing business journeys and startups and building something from nothing. So here she is. Elinor, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for inviting me.
No problem. Thank you for being here and in unforeseen circumstances, but hey ho, it is what it is. Right. First of all, I just want to get something really crystal clear. I'm useless at pronunciations. I swear, I think I failed English back in school, and I know you've had this quite a lot. So first of all, what is your full name?
So my name is Elinor May Davies-Farn.
Elinor May Davies-Farn.
Yes.
Wow, that's a mouthful, but that's quite a cool name. I like that. What did people call you back in when you were a child, when you were in school and stuff? Like, what was your nickname?
I had quite a few. I had Farn. What other ones did I have? Yeah, I think those are the main ones, I'd say. Okay. Because my spelling is like a Welsh spelling. A lot of people don't know how to pronounce it, even though it looks simple, which is quite interesting.
This is the thing, right? So when you see it on paper, it's like, oh God, right. I'm just going to call you Els for this podcast. How about that? Is that okay with you?
Love it.
Els.
Yeah, throw it back.
Right, Els. Els, happy, what day is it today? We kind of lose days, but we were just talking about before we jumped on, we're kind of losing track of days because we're just like in the same bubble of this life in lockdown and quarantine.
Yeah, every day is the same. I think the only way that I know what day it is when new Netflix shows come out. So I'm watching the Michael Jordan one at the moment, and it comes out on a Monday. So I definitely know when Mondays are.
You get that little notification. I do exactly the same. The Last Dance, isn't it? So good, isn't it? So good.
Amazing.
Do you know what? I was never really into basketball, and I find stories about people fascinating, especially people like that who have gone from nothing. When he was talking about his dad, and his dad was putting him down, saying you're not going to be anything, and then all of a sudden, bang! Like he's this massive star, and it's amazing, insane, correct. And right, so Els, I've brought you on. I've asked you to come on, and I'm very thankful for that. You run a business, your own business. But first of all, okay, your last post on your Instagram, you put a compilation video up of people trying to pronounce what your business name is. I'm going to give this a go. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Do it.
Okay, so it's Olew.
Yes.
Is that right?
Well, to be honest, even Welsh people say it differently. So I say Olew.
Olew.
It's the Welsh word for oil. But the whole reason I chose it is, one, my first language is Welsh, so I wanted to incorporate that. But two, it's quite cool because everyone just says it however they want, so it's their kind of own brand, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Quite fun. Like, how do you say it? How do you say it? How does anyone say it? And then like a North Walian will say it differently to me because I'm from West Wales. So yeah. Anything goes.
It's a conversational topic, right? Yeah. Where do you get? We'll talk about obviously what you do in a bit and what your product is and how you got there. But so what I want to do, I want to go right back to the start. I know we've had a conversation prior to this, but I really want to take you back to before you started the business, what you did, what inspired you to do what you do today, and why you do it. There's lots of, I know for people that start their own businesses, there's always lots of reasons as to why they've been inspired to do their business. And usually it's something really deep rooted personally. I know mine is. So yeah, tell us, take us back, Els. Take us back, Els.
Taking it back. So should I go to uni days?
Go as far back as you want.
School
Maybe
days?
go make
I think
it.
I'll go to school.
Let's go to
I'll
school.
go back to school. So in school, I had very straight hair. So if anyone looks at my Instagram, you'll see that I've got very curly hair now. So I used to straighten it, one, because teachers would tell me that my hair was untidy and didn't look very presentable.
No, did they?
Yeah, all the time. I remember twice, a teacher would brush my hair in front of everyone, and it hurt so much because my hair isn't silky and smooth.
Right.
Yeah, so that was quite, not traumatic, that's dramatic to say, but it wasn't the nicest thing to sit in front of a class when the teacher's brushing your hair to try and smooth it down.
So they say it in front of the other classmates?
Twice, yeah,
What?
in two different schools.
Do you know what? I know how that feels, and that's not a nice feeling because I had a similar experience. But so, how old were you when this happened?
I was in primary school the first time, and then probably year 9 the second time. So year 9 was probably the worst one.
Wow. And do you know what's funny?
Yeah.
You remember those two moments even to this day, going back to primary school. That's crazy, right? Carry on anyway. Sorry, carry on. Button
in. So then obviously you think, well, my hair isn't acceptable or suitable or beautiful because these adults are saying this. And when you grow up, especially your teachers, you respect teachers and you respect your elders. So you think, well, anything that older people say is true.
Yeah.
So I grew up with thinking that my hair wasn't socially acceptable or beautiful. So I would straighten it every day. I mean, it took an hour of my life every day. I can't believe it.
And this is while you were growing up?
Yeah. So from the age of 11 to, when did I stop straightening it? 19.
Wow.
I think. So yeah, I think that really affected my confidence as a girl growing up. I never thought I was beautiful or, I just didn't have any self-confidence really. And yeah, it wasn't, I guess looking back, it was a bit of a waste of a youth thing.
Yeah. But the thing is, you didn't know any better at that time, right?
No, and I think fashion was maybe slightly different. It wasn't as, I think there was always like one rule fits all, whereas now I think things start to change a little bit. So you'd look at magazines and adverts and everyone would have this silky, glossy hair. So that was my goal. So I remember I actually chemically straightened it so it's probably more suited for afro hair, but I used the same chemicals on my hair that they do, just because I was that desperate to have straight, glossy hair. Which, I could have lost all my hair, so that was
a good idea. You went in that much that you used chemicals that were no good for your hair? Not
at all. So bad. I'm lucky to have hair, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Did anything ever happen when you put those chemicals in your hair?
Luckily, no, because I've got very thick, strong hair. Okay. But a lot of people have had hair loss, like alopecia, from using it. So
no.
Yeah,
you went to that extreme and that desperate to get your hair straight, and that's that's the avenue you took.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started using that?
14, 15.
So so you've got your own mind, you're coming into your teens, like, wow, okay. Now, how did that make you feel at the time?
At the time when I did it, I was desperate. I just thought they would give me glossy, straight hair. But clearly it just gave me straight straw-like hair because it dried. Like I looked like a scarecrow. Yeah. So it didn't ever, anything I did never gave me these things that they said they would. Like hair straighteners would never make my hair that straight. This chemical wouldn't make it how it is like in, all these adverts. And I remember buying loads of products that would say, oh, it would, give you really straight, flat, frizzy hair, and I'd buy all of this and it still wouldn't obviously do what it says on advertising or make me look like those people. So I think I just went through many years just trying to be something that I wasn't.
Until
I went to uni, And I think I just met a lot of more diverse group of people. Because obviously I grew up in West Wales, so there's only Welsh people really there.
Yeah.
there's not much difference in who you see or what you see really. So I went to Bournemouth University, and I made friends with a lot of people that looked different to the perception of beauty, I guess, that we deemed to be like a white woman with glossy hair was probably the epitome of beauty.
I call it like conforming to society, right?
Yeah.
Like you go through this stage where you just conform. Then you see people that aren't conforming and you're like,
Yeah.
well, maybe I could be different. Maybe I could have my own opinion. Maybe I could do what I want to do and be how I want to be, right?
Yeah,
So
and
you
I
start
think
testing.
university gives you that sense of kind of you analyze things a lot more.
Okay.
Well, that's how I found it anyway. That it kind of gave you more of a voice.
Yeah.
So that coupled with meeting people that embraced their differences really helped my confidence levels. I still straightened my hair, but I was starting to get more confident. So then I went to Spain by myself. I traveled around Spain by myself, and I only had one bag, and I had my straighteners and my hair dryer and all
Please
these
tell me you threw
products.
the straighteners into the river or something when you were there.
I should have done. And I was like, well, no one really knows me in Spain. And you know what? I'm just going to go there and learn Spanish. So I'm just going to leave my straighteners and my hairdryer behind. And it took I say that really flippantly. It took a lot of persuading for me to do that in myself. And since then, so that was 2011.
Can I also ask you a question on that?
Yeah.
Like, obviously having this stigma around having your hair straight and being a certain person, like how conscious were you, like on a day-to-day basis? Like, let's just say if you were out in Spain or wherever in uni days, how conscious were you of your hair looking a certain way throughout the day? Like, would you look at other people and compare yourself to other girls that have got straight hair maybe?
Oh yeah, all the time.
And did that distract you from like life in general? Like, did it consume a lot of your energy?
I think yes and no. I think I was very focused when I did my schoolwork, which thank God that was good. But in terms of kind of having confidence around, boys or other girls, probably not so much.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't put myself out there, and I was very like enclosed.
Like, so were you the quiet one, or maybe the introverted one? Would you say? I don't know, how would
Yeah,
you
I was introverted until I really knew you, I think.
Okay.
I'm not one of. I think I still am a bit like that. I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but I've completely forgotten. Don't know. It'll come back to me. So yeah, since I went to Spain, and it was still very hard for me to walk around and embrace my natural hair, and also it was so damaged that it looked horrendous. I thought I had these lovely curls, and that was not the case because it was so dry, so damaged. So yes, that was my turning point really, of embracing my natural hair, and from there it really gave me confidence to just be truly myself, and not trying to look like something else that I thought was beautiful, and really just found myself beautiful for the first time.
Did you find then you stopped sort of comparing yourself to other people?
Oh yeah,
You just stopped completely.
I think it took a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I didn't compare myself at all to anyone.
Because I want to ask you a question around social media. So when did you start using social media? And when you started using social media like Instagram, were you going on there and comparing yourself to other people that had straight hair, or was that a point where you weren't using social media?
Yeah, I didn't use social media, to be honest. Growing up, I didn't watch much TV, and I didn't have any social media.
Okay.
So I think the main comparison I had, and I think going back to the teachers in my childhood, was probably that more than anything. Because I'm really bad at films and actors and TV shows. I mean, I watch Netflix now because I'm a different person. But growing up, I was like, I missed a chunk of life. Like, I only watched Forrest Gump the other day.
Oh,
I missed a massive chunk of kind of popular culture when I was growing up, but I didn't miss the straight hair popular culture.
Why did you miss so much of that growing up?
I think we were always outside growing
Okay.
up,
Which is
or
not a bad thing, right?
no. And I think I was a bit of not a nerd, but I did like schoolwork and reading and stuff.
Okay. So would you say you missed out?
No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I don't think so.
I think, but sometimes when people have conversations about popular culture, I have no idea.
So certain
Like
things,
as if like I'm from another country.
Okay, yeah, no, I know what you mean. Right, okay, I know what you mean.
Although Friends, and I think every girl will um, relate to this, is everyone wanted Jennifer Aniston's straight hair. That was the epitome. That was hair goals growing up.
Right.
That's what everyone wanted.
What are we talking, series 4 or series 5? Because series 4 got really straight. And
Yeah,
series 5 got long and straight.
Yeah, it's
I
long
don't
and
watch Friends
straight.
much, you can probably tell.
Series 5, long and straight with the steps on the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
That was hair goals. That's what I wanted my hair to be.
What do you mean steps? I have no idea. What does that mean?
Okay, now you look at them. There's like layers where there's like a step. So when you see her from the side, she's got like steps.
So it goes like straight to like down to her ears, and then it's sort of steps.
Yeah, there's like different levels of her hair. Check it out next time you watch it.
Thanks for educating me. A little fun fact I never knew. I like that. Okay, cool. All right. So thank you for telling us that. It's interesting to hear where and what inspired you to do what you do today. And it's always, as you said, you wouldn't call it a traumatic experience, but it was an experience, right? Going back to school or being back in school and having those comments thrown at you, and you still remember them today, which is really, that obviously shows how hard it hit, even though it wasn't a massive thing.
No,
you weren't physically injured or anything, but mentally it's damaged. It's imprinted in you. Okay, so what was the turning point throughout your 20s, sort of growing up, working in your day job, and then transitioning over? So what was happening for you then in that period of your life?
So I moved to London to work for BMW.
Great city.
Yay! Love.
Yeah.
I think because I graduated from uni, and I think maybe a lot of people will relate to this. I went to uni, and everyone told you if you follow these steps, if you get your A levels, if you get a good degree, if you do well at all of your coursework, whatever, you'll get a really good job and you'll get paid really well.
And how'd that work out for you?
I ended up in Mini Park Lane as a product genius, which you didn't need a degree for. I did a placement year for them the year before, and they asked me, "Oh, you should do this. It's the first thing." And I arrived. I was really excited. The wage was okay, and I thought, "Oh, I'll just be able to work my way up to something that needs a degree level." And I was there, and no one had uni qualifications, which is fine. But I was like, well,
what did I do?
I was promised to have a really good job and get paid really well, but everyone that is getting paid really well don't have a degree or haven't worked hard or don't have a student loan. And it really that kind of moment where you're like, oh, I feel like I've been lied to. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Do you know what? This is a really interesting topic, and I want to speak about this for a moment because I've got views on this. I never went to university. I went to college, sixth form college, and then went straight to a working life. But I never went to university. However, I did visit people that did go to university.
Yeah.
But now looking back, like even the company I recently worked for, there was another guy who was doing the same job as me. He was still paying his student loan off at 28 years of age. And I'm just thinking, you're doing the same job as me. We're earning the same money, if not more, or whatever. Like, what was, I don't know, education system these days, like, and who told you that you were guaranteed a job when you get out of this? Now, I'm not saying this is for everyone. Like, some people do come out of uni and get an amazing job in a big four, work their way up, and hundreds of thousands of pounds, etc., which is great and well done to you. But the majority of people I speak to, i.e. you, like, it wasn't even necessary to go out and get this degree and do all this education to go out and get the job you wanted. So who told you this? And how did you feel going into a role that you didn't need a degree for?
I think it's just teachers. It's like the system, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I really enjoy learning, I guess. So I just thought, if I get really good GCSEs, I'll get really good A levels, and then I'll do really well and get a really good job. Didn't have a clue what job it was going to be, but I just, in my head, I was like, yeah, I'm going to earn loads of money and be in a really cool office, and with my degree, which didn't really work out the way I planned. Not discrediting education, because I think if I hadn't gone to uni, I wouldn't have met people that I did meet, and I wouldn't be as analytical as I am today. So, but obviously it's not for everyone, but I don't regret. I think the only thing I do regret is probably just I didn't have an idea of what job I wanted. I just wanted to make money, and so that probably didn't help. I was in Mini Park Lane, and I thought, okay, I'm earning like 50% less than everyone else, and they don't have a degree, and it kind of annoyed me a bit. So I was like, well, I've worked really hard for 3 years, and now look at me.
Doing the same thing as this other
or
person.
No, less than them.
Or even less, yeah.
So anyway, I worked my way up to become their equal on pay level and whatever, and really enjoyed it. Good pay, had a nice car, but I was like, it's not really fulfilling me in terms of, okay, I'm just selling cars to people.
Were you happy in this time?
I was for a bit, and then again, I think I had that moment. I think I was probably happy for 6 months. I was like, oh yeah, really nice car, really good wages, yeah. And then I went on holiday for a week, and I just had that moment, and I was like, I've worked 12-hour minimum days without a day off. I worked Saturdays, Sundays, bank holidays. I worked for 4 weeks straight, nearly, without like a day off, maybe one day. And I calculated what I'd earned that month with the hours that I'd actually worked. And I was like, that is awful.
Right?
Yeah. Like on paper, I was like, oh my God, I've earned so much money. I was like, the hours that I put in and the hours that I lost out with my friends was like, oh my God, I'm literally on minimum wage, less than minimum wage.
Wow.
So, but I still went to work and I still continued, but I wasn't happy at that point, I don't think.
Yeah.
I was like selling things to people that either couldn't afford it, and I felt really bad.
That's never a nice thing, is it? Yeah.
Or they could afford it and they were so rude and just so, I mean, there was this one time this guy paid twice for his car, which was over 40,000, and didn't even realize.
What? How do you make a mistake like that?
Yeah, didn't even realize until the account said, oh, we've reconciled this twice, and I had to call him, and he said, I didn't realize.
Wow.
Like, so there was 2 levels of customers that I had to deal with, and I was like, surely I can make people happy, or not change, not change their lives, but just be a little bit better.
Yeah.
If I'm making sense.
What, like, when you're talking about sort of happiness and that perception of going out from uni and just trying to earn as much money as possible and trying to conform to society and having the best car, having the best materialistic things, watches, whatever it might be, like, what now, to this current date, what does happiness mean to you, if you could define it?
To me, is having flexibility to do what I want. As in, when I worked for BMW, I couldn't just say, okay, I'm finishing work at 3. I don't think, okay, it's nice to have money, and yes, I want to make money, but I think to me, happiness is doing what I want to do. So, we were discussing earlier, waking up on a Monday, you feel a bit tired. You don't start work at 9. You can choose to start work at 3 or not do anything at all and catch up the next day. I think that to me is happiness.
Yeah. Amazing. I really, when you first thing you said, I really just smiled, because you're so right. It's having that freedom to do what you want to do, as and when you want to do it and how you want to do it. Right.
Yeah.
I never really knew this a couple of years or even 2-3 years ago. I always thought it was, working God, all God sends hours, trying to earn as much money as possible, trying to buy a house, trying to have a nice car. I used to think that was being happy. Other things were buying or purchasing to make me happy. And it didn't really make any sense whatsoever, because that's not sustainable. It's so not. No. And then once you start doing your own thing, you start really realizing what your purpose is and what actually fulfills you and builds you up and ultimately gives you happiness. But I feel like some people don't really realize the true happiness until they start going and stepping into that, like stepping into those shoes of like, right, I'm going to dip myself in and just lean into this a little bit more, just see what happens. And this is exactly what you did. So talk us through the transition of selling cars to guys that are paying 40 grand extra than they need to doing your own thing. And where when was a turning point for you when you were working? When was that turning point?
Yeah, I think when I was working, and I just don't like being told what to do as a person. I hate being told what to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm getting up at 6 every morning to get in the office for 8:30 to sit there until 6, and like you're not really productive.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is like being in jail. I was like, I just hated being constrained and like a robot, and I was like, no, this is not for me. And I was just becoming bitter and bitter, and I was like, this is not nice.
It started having a real bad detrimental effect to your mood, right?
All the time. I was in such a bad mood, and that's all I wanted to do was like eat loads to try and make myself happy.
See how much of a downward spiral that is for someone's mental health, though.
It's so bad.
It can go really, really rapidly. It can change. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the reasons I do this podcast is mental health's a massive thing, right?
Yeah.
You all have mental health, and it's how we treat it and what we feed it. But you just saying that it had that effect on you day in, day out, sitting there, you started eating more, so your diet started taking a hit.
Yeah.
Carry on. Like that's really interesting you said that.
Yeah, there was just loads of things, and I think I was just not very nice to other people because I wasn't happy in myself. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? One morning, I just handed in my notice, and I know everyone was like, "What?" Like no one saw it coming at all. And since then, I was like, felt so free. Like I'd go to the gym, I'd eat well. I just felt like a weight had lifted, even though I had like a month to go, and then they asked me to stay on for a bit longer. I just felt so relaxed and just happy in myself. And I was like, no money can do that to you. I think that just comes from within and doing what's right for you and just take it. I mean, it is scary. Like a job's nice and secure. You've got your pension, you've got your wage coming in. It is really scary, and you have to.
But is it secure? That's the thing, right?
Yeah, no, it isn't.
Look at what's happened at the moment with the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. You're actually controlled, because if they furlough you or whatever, then you have no control over that. Yeah. But you don't think that because you've been conditioned to think the opposite, I guess.
I call it an employee mindset. So an employee mindset, and we've both been there. Like you wait for your paycheck every month. Your income's controlled by someone else, the company. You don't really have the freedom to do what you want to do because it's not your company, it's not your business. Even people that I speak to that are managing directors that have gone from juniors. One of the podcasts with Ian, my guest last week, he was saying that he was in the business for 16 years. All of a sudden, one afternoon got made redundant. Just got made redundant. He went from junior up to MD. And he was saying, and then he's literally gone and done his own thing now. And he's like, I now feel free. I now know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do for 2-3 years before leaving. But now I have complete control over my income, my lifestyle, my relationships, the people I surround myself with. And I always say, I think you're more at risk if you're an MD level or a director of a company. You're more at risk of your job and your career because you're higher paid, and they're the ones that if they need to cut you, they will cut you. And it happens. But when you're in an employee mindset, you don't see that at all. So it's interesting to say that.
I think the only thing is probably hard is like that transition period. The first year, if you're really lucky, you might, but you're not going to earn the same amount, and you're probably going to work harder because obviously you're starting from nothing. I think you really have to weather and ride out that period and not think, okay, in 2 months I'm going to be back to how I was. And I think that's the difference between an employee and owning your own business, is if you can go without a lot of things that you were used to for a certain time period.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I'd go out with my friends and I was like, oh God, I literally have no money. I mean, I can't really get what they're getting. This is really awkward. Or, go on these holidays that they wanted to go to. So I did have to sacrifice things that I would normally have been able to do. But now, I mean, this month is going to be my first ever official paycheck from Olew, which is really exciting.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm so excited. But yeah, having that patience and diligence. I mean, I could have taken money out of the company, but I was like, you know what, I want it to build up and do its own thing and see if it actually can make money. But yeah, it's been tough getting to where it is now, but it's totally worth it. But you really have to be strong and know what I think just have that vision of what you know will come, but you need patience.
Yeah, I'm so happy you said that, because I have a lot of conversations with people that want to start their own business but don't understand the transition for it. And I never understood it. Like, I'm 2 years into my business now, and that first year was so painful, more painful than I ever imagined, because you don't realize the effects. First of all, it has on your income, which obviously has a massive effect on your lifestyle. Trying to live the lifestyle you had when you're on a really high paid job and you're all good and stuff, but then all of a sudden you lose that and you're like, right, I have this, what you said, the sacrifices you have to make. You can't be going out and on the weekend and spending £100, £150 on whatever, go and spending those additional money. I haven't bought any new clothes in like 2 years. It's ridiculous, right?
Same.
Because those are not priorities. Your priorities all of a sudden shift when you start running your own business. But you're so right, and the sacrifices you have to make are so important to any new business owner. And I'm really glad you said that, because it is going to take a year. It might take 2 years. Some businesses might take 5 years before you get a paycheck, but that's just what you're invested in. And this is why it's so important. And almost every new business owner I speak to, in the first couple of years, they go through a burnout of some sort, because they don't realize the effects it's having on them, like mentally and physically. And it happens. I had it last year, and it was a horrible experience. But at the same time, now I'm like, look back, reflect, thinking, now look how differently I treat my business, right?
Yeah.
So like, your first year, like, what was it after you got past the first year? Like, what was going on? How was it within the business?
What do you mean?
Like, what were you doing? Like, how did it scale? Like, when you first started, I know you said you were. Well, tell us about your product first, actually.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about that, have we? Like, who is this?
Els, you run a business, but no one really knows what it is. So tell us about your product.
The secret.
Yeah.
Hair products for curly hair, funnily enough. So it's all about allowing women to buy a product that helps them embrace their natural hair, to something that I couldn't find on the market. I created from my flat. So all the ingredients is something that I've made myself, and I know that it works.
So I've got a question for you on this, because I actually wrote this down. I put recipe on my notepad.
Yeah.
How did you come up with a recipe for hair products?
Oh my gosh. I went on lots of courses.
Okay.
Read a lot, because obviously I like reading. Yeah. And just a lot of trial and error, and understanding what type of oil helps with hair growth, what type of oil helps with your scalp, what type of natural ingredient helps with taming frizz, or helping get your curl definition. My flat was like I can't even, it's like a potion box. Does that even make sense?
I've got a vision of like a chemist when you go into like a lab and you've got loads of chemistry things and all different colours and stuff.
It's like a Breaking Bad on a hair.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a vision of that right now. Okay, yeah.
That was where it all began, really, and I just used it on my hair for years. And then my friends were like, "Oh, your hair's changed. I'll have some." So I just used to make it and give it to them. Yeah. And then I was like, maybe I can actually make money from this and quit this awful job that I hate.
Okay, there's a point, right? So you you created this product, you started using it for yourself first.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, organically, friends started asking for it.
Yes, yeah. And then I'd be in this, it still happens now, obviously. You can see my hair and it looks awful now because I haven't been able to do anything, so I'm packing boxes. But when I'm going on the underground or, wherever, I do get ladies ask me, oh, what products do you use for your hair?
No.
So it was
randomly
like,
come up to you.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's amazing.
So I was like, oh, I just make it in my kitchen. Like, I was thinking, oh,
They're like, what? They're probably thinking you're going to pull out a bottle or something. So here it is, but you're like, no, I actually make this stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's like,
wow.
From the repetition of that and people asking me and my friends using it and saying that they liked it, I was like, well, maybe I can actually do something. Everyone didn't think they were like, you're not going to make any money selling hair products, like crowded market, stupid idea. Yeah.
Oh, love that. Who said that?
Everyone, apart from my boyfriend. Everyone else, my mum, my grandparents, my friends, people I worked with, everyone.
How did you take that?
I think took it as a challenge.
Yeah.
Because I think growing up, and it goes back to growing up, is I was quite introverted, so I'd work really hard, but people didn't think I was that smart, I don't think, until I had my GCSEs. Yeah. And then my mum was like, I had to call up for my GCSEs, and I got A's and A stars, whatever. And my mum thought I was going to get D's and C's genuinely. She was like, if you get a few C's, I'll be really happy. And I remember her being like, can you call them again to make sure that those were your grades? I was like, seriously? So I think I've always had that. Well, people always think I was the underdog anyway. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I was head girl of my school, and my mum was like totally shocked by that. So I was like, well, all through my life, they've always thought I couldn't do anything, and I have. So this is another thing I'm going to prove them wrong about, I guess.
Amazing. I love that. And I think that's a powerful statement to make, that anyone that tells you can't do something and you go and do it.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Off your own back. First of all, I think who cares? Someone's got an opinion. Someone said I can't do something, whatever. But now I'm like, actually, if I could do that, and it's the one thing that Arnold Schwarzenegger says in one of his videos. I can't remember what he says. He says, oh yeah, well, someone tells me I can't do something, or it's never been done before, and then I go and do it, and I'm the first one that's ever done it. And I feel like so good about that, because it's an achievement, right? It's a personal goal. It's a win for you. And it's a massive boost on you as a person. So fair play.
And I think one other thing I'd add is, and I'm sure other people have this, is that people ask what's so special about your brand, or like what's so special about your product, because there's loads of and it is such a question. I only get this question from people that don't have their own businesses, and to begin with, they used to really like put me off, or like think like, oh God, yeah, mine's no different. But that question really annoys me, because I'm like, well, did Ford think that, or not Ford, because Ford was one of the first ones, but did Ferrari think that, oh, because there's Ford and GM Motors and whatever, that they couldn't make money from their own car? There's loads of car brands, there's loads of brands of everything. Like you can make a product or have a company, and you don't have to be completely different. Like,
I think that's just a really shit excuse, to be fair.
Oh, and really annoys me.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's got this mentality at the moment that you have to be the next Facebook, and you have to be totally different. You don't have to be totally different to have a really good, successful business.
Could you imagine if Mark Zuckerberg went, oh, I'm going to do the same as everyone else and create something completely the same? Like, Facebook would not be existing right now. He wants to do something completely different.
So, so if people say that, don't listen, because they don't. It just really annoys me.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Okay, so moving forward, where is Olew?
Yeah, it's good.
Olew now, like, what's going on for Olew? Like, we're 8 weeks into UK lockdown, I think, or 9 weeks. I don't know.
Maybe 9, maybe 10.
When we're recording this, so what does the future hold at the moment? Like, how is business at the moment? Like, you just said before the call, you're flat out.
Yeah, luckily, thank God, sales have gone up, which is amazing.
Why do you think
And
that is?
I think,
Because no one can go out at the moment. So I don't know
yeah,
what's happening.
I think it's a lot of word of mouth through
Okay.
Instagram. So people are posting their lockdown locks,
Yeah.
and people don't want to make a huge effort or straighten their hair like they used to. So I think my initial message of embracing your natural beauty is probably resonating more with people now than ever before.
Power
Um,
punch is being thrown. I love that. Yeah. It's so true.
so I'm super, super happy with that. And I've had loads of messages from ladies saying, I'm so glad lockdown's happened because I've now have time to embrace my natural hair and realize, you know, the confidence it brings, which is, it means like so, so much because that's why I created the brand really. So yeah, we've got stockists in Kuwait and Dubai ordering lots, which is amazing. Yeah, so we're really branching out globally, which is something that I didn't really think that would
Do you reckon
happen so
this has
soon.
happened all organically mainly, or is this have you been pushing to sell
No,
countries?
no, it's organic. I think it's just staying true to my initial message.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other brands that have popped up that, you know, have products for curly hair, but
Yeah.
I don't think they have the same message as I have been pushing. And I
Okay.
think over the last 2 years I've probably been a lot behind them,
Yeah.
whereas now, because I've stayed true to what my brand is, it's now really showing. And I think the fruits of my labor of 2 years kind of grinding is now coming together, I think.
Yeah. And it's going to keep going, right?
Yes.
You've got no intention to stop, right?
Never, ever,
Don't
ever.
stop on your dreams.
No.
That's the worst thing you can do. I mean, look, that's powerful stuff, because for anyone, especially my audience, that have dreams or have desires or have these ideas, but they just don't know how to implement them, the best thing you can do, exactly what Els has done, is just start, right? You started in your kitchen. You started, do you know what's most importantly? You started educating yourself. You started learning, right? It's exactly what I did when I first started. I was like, I need to educate myself in this, because we as humans are, when we're a baby, we know nothing.
True.
But we learn stuff as we go. We create stuff as we go. Like, we consume content to learn stuff. Like, we learn languages, right? So if anyone says, oh, they can't do something, it's not because they can't do it. It's because they've got the fear of failing before they even start. And this is the conversations I'm having at the moment. But the fact is, we as humans, we don't know anything, but we learn stuff.
Yeah, that is so true.
If someone doesn't know how to start a business, like, learn how to start a business, then learn how to find your passion.
But you learn as you go as well. Don't think you need to know everything. I had no idea about anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, do you know what? I probably learn more now today than I did when I first started 2 years ago. And that's what I love about it. It's just a constant journey.
It's a bit like when you pass your driving test.
Yeah.
You don't actually learn to drive until you're in that car by yourself.
Yeah, true.
I think it's a really similar, you can teach yourself to a certain point, but you just need to do it, and then you'll learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the problem, it is, if you're using an excuse to not do something, then really have a conversation with you, have a conversation with yourself. Or do you know what? Just find support. Find that external person that has no opinion and no judgment to talk to, and to give you that perspective that you probably need. It can help wonders. Well, look,
Definitely.
We're coming to the end of the conversation. I feel like we could talk forever.
Definitely. Could another hour or two.
I know. It's quite nice. It's quite therapeutic, though. I quite like sitting back and just having a conversation. So it's actually quite nice. What I wanted to ask is, for you, if you were to give anyone your best wisdom words to do what they want to do, as in like their purpose or their passion, what would you tell them?
I know this sounds, I'm sure everyone says it, but go with your gut. I know that sounds really cliche, but if something feels right, just do it. Like, if you're really passionate about something, you'll do well at it. It's like, you know, when you're in school and your favorite subject or something that you liked, you'd always do better than the subjects that you didn't like.
Yeah.
So if you're really passionate about anything, go with it and have faith that you will do it. Just do it. Don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for perfect time or perfect amount of knowledge or perfect amount of money or the perfect product, because my product to begin with doesn't look anything like it does now. The product was the same, obviously the ingredients, but the packaging, labeling, nothing alike. But I developed that as I went along with the money that I made and things that I learned and didn't learn. And you just go with it and have faith that you can do anything that you need. You can, because you can, definitely.
Yeah. Do you know what? If someone said that to me 4 or 5 years ago, I'll be like, shut up, mate. You're talking absolute rubbish. But now I'm like, oh my God, how true is that?
Yeah.
How true is that and it's a prime example where you're in a fixed mindset and then you move into a growth mindset. You're in a fixed mindset. No one really, this is my coach head talking, but when you're in a fixed mindset, you don't really want to take in anything or get help from others or get support, because you're so fixed in your ways and your opinions are your opinions and they're the right ones. As soon as you switch into a growth mindset, you do exactly that. And I think that's a really, really powerful statement to make, and so true. And I know it sounds a bit cliche, but it's the truth, right? So true. And do you know what? Enjoy it as well. Try and enjoy it. Not every day is going to be the best day of your life. You're probably going to, like, I put a video out a couple of months ago. The entrepreneur journey is like, you go up, then you go all the way down, you go up, then you go even further down. Like the first year, 2 years is just so erratic, but you've got to embrace it. You have to embrace it, because you take the good with the bad. And you know what? If you're passionate about something and you love doing it, then,
well, the bad isn't so bad.
No, exactly. And you will create your own type of success, right? Everyone's got
and don't compare your success or anything that you do with anyone else. That's a massive I think I fell in the trap of that before, and everything you do is different to anyone else, and your success is different to everyone else's, and everyone, I guess, says that they're doing well and sometimes they aren't. So just don't listen to or don't compare yourself to anyone. Just do your thing, stay on your kind of path, and you'll be fine.
It's so funny. Like this morning, I literally put a post out on my Instagram saying, don't let the success of others discourage you. Let it inspire you. And this is something which I used to do so much. I used to see other people being really successful, earning all this money, doing what they love. Like this is what they're portraying on their social media. And I automatically just compared myself. I'm like, I'm nowhere near that. I'm never going to get there. Like it seems so far away. But realistically, when you speak to them and you hear their journey, just like you've done, all the shit they've gone through to get where they want to get to, that's what the road to, I call it living your best life, is. Like it takes time. So no, that's a great thing to say. Cool. All right. Els, anything else to finish off on? Any last words of wisdom for the masses?
No, I think we've given them enough.
Okay. Big shout out to Siobhan as well for putting me in touch with you. I know you worked with her and she started her own business as well. So hopefully
I'm so happy about that.
From this as well. Cool. All right, Els. Well, look, guys, thank you for listening. If you've got this far, I massively appreciate it. Please do leave us a comment. I will put all Els links below as well. If you want to check out our hair product, if you're listening to this, like I'll put all the links below if that's okay.
Yeah.
And obviously reach out if you want to reach out and have a conversation or have a chat. If you've got any questions, reach out. It's always good to hear.
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
Cool. All right. Well, look, I'm going to give you an air fist pump because that's all we can do on a Zoom call.
Yay.
No, thank you for your time. And enjoy, guys, and have a great day.